We've been making progress for quite some time, but you'd think the first prime ministerial visit from an Australian PM going to China in 7 years, that there would be something material, not just, more of the same.
Well, dialogue's critical.
Yeah, I know, but if the Prime Minister's going to China and Xi Jinping has made all the right noises and said, we're getting back to normal, you'd expect something to happen quite quickly, practically.
I think from the Australian government's perspective, we want to see fast progress on those issues over the coming weeks and months. It was a very successful visit.
How do you measure that success?
Well, in Shanghai, the Trade Minister and the Prime Minister there were 250 companies that would employ tens of thousands of Australians.
Yeah, but sure. Those companies go on every single trade delegation and visit that I've ever been to, so that surely can't be a measure of success.
There haven't been many of them going over the course of the last
because of COVID.
3 or 4 years, because of COVID, because of the challenges in the relationship, and that is an important piece of work that actually matters.
Surely that's not your measure of success. I mean, farmers and exporters and winemakers, particularly in South Australia, will be watching this morning going, hang on, we need to see a little bit more than just, business leaders meeting in Shanghai.
It's been good to see the progress that has been made thus far, but we need to see more progress on those final 3 categories of goods.
Okay.
It's
wine, beef, lobster?
Yes, that's right. That's right. And the thing about those exports and the exports that have been the subject of the impediments that have been resolved is they are all regional. These are all regional jobs. They are categories of industry that employ people in good jobs in regional areas. And the government's approach is, yes, stabilise the relationship with China. That is important from a trade perspective. It's also important from a strategic perspective. But as you know, the government is all about diversifying our trading relationships.
Yeah, it's hard to do that though.
Well, it's hard work, but it's necessary work.
And we have done a little bit of that. Indonesia, India, certainly in the frame there. But the reason why this is so important, and I'm so bullshit with you this morning, is because cost of living is the number one issue. Yeah. This directly affects people and their household budgets. Last night we hear from Michelle Bullock that inflation isn't caused by overseas, not the Ukrainian war, not what's going on in Israel. This is homegrown now. That sounds like a you problem.
Trade is important. It is important in terms of jobs. The jobs in firms that are trade exposed provide better wages and better quality jobs than jobs in the rest of the economy. It's absolutely vital for our growth, for good jobs for Australians, and indeed attending to the kind of issues, the long-term structural issues that you're
But what I'm trying to say, Tim, and I'm sorry,
to.
I keep on interrupting you today and I hate that, but we are running out of time. But what I'm trying to say to you is that the government has Michelle Bullock thrown you under the bus here? Because essentially, this is a you problem now. There needs to be done more on the fiscal side, whether it's migration, a better skills match-up, or direct support, or will that be inflationary?
All of these issues are being attended to by the government in a pretty careful way. You've seen a $23 billion cost of living package, which has been demonstrated to have not only provided relief for Australians who are facing big challenges in terms of inflation, but also to have put downward pressure on inflation. Electricity is cheaper than it would have been.
Sure, but
18% cheaper.
You have control over the level of migration and whether that matches the skills. It feels like, and it looks like, and there's evidence that has not matched. I mean, you've had 500,000 migrants come in the last 12 months, and you still have a massive skills shortage in the construction sector, for example, and a shortage in housing. That is pushing up inflation. That is pushing up the cost of homes, yet your government still has a massive migration intake plan for the next year. Doesn't that need to be seriously limited?
Well, there are inflationary pressures across the economy. Don't forget where this started, where we've started and where we've got to. Inflation is certainly moderating. We'd like to see it moderate faster.
Migration?
In terms of migration, that we've inherited a migration system that has been broken. And the government has... there are challenges there in the economy in terms of skill shortages.
I fully accept that, but you cannot blame the intake of 500,000 migrants on the previous government. It was squarely the choice of this government, and how you match those skills was in your power. Yes, you needed more migrants to fill those skill shortages, but was the level too high, too quickly?
Well, I don't believe it was too high. I don't believe it was too quick. It does mean that we've got to focus on, in an ongoing way, on making sure the migration settings are right for now, but
right
also
now?
in a structural way for the future.
We just had the opposition leader in New South Wales saying it is too high. It needs to return to pre-COVID levels, which was about 250,000, if not lower.
Well, we've got skill shortages that we've got to attend to.
Do you see the point in that argument?
And we've got to get homes built. We've got to get houses built. We've got to get infrastructure built. We've got to make sure that we attend to all these issues, for inflation in the short term, but also for making sure we're attending to the big productivity and other challenges for the future. We have had a decade where government's been sitting on its hands and coasting. Now the government is actively engaged with resolving these issues, whether it's in terms of migration, productivity, infrastructure,
but more hairdressers
energy.
aren't going to build those homes.
That's right.
Right. So
you're
bringing in the wrong skilled workers is my point.
We need workers in the areas of the economy where we need to see skills growth or capacity growth. Housing is obviously one of those, but it's not the only one, Laura.
Okay. Always good to talk to you, Tim.
You too, Laura. See you soon.
See you soon.